Kawaleo, the public still controls their perception about Diana Ross. So the best thing Diana Ross can do is she was indeed a smart person, like she says. She said she's incredibly brilliant. You know, she needs to go out there and do good things to people. Literally, any bad thing yenye mtu anafanyia mwingine, she should never be associated with that. She should start doing good things to people. That is how you change people's perceptions about you. That is how you do it. Okay? And then you stop living in the past. Unaona? Unaachana na hiyo past kabisa. Sana sana if your past is as troubled as Diana Okello's past. Hiyo unaichukua, unaizika, ama unaichoma katika ile moto ya milele, alafu you soldier on with your life. Lakini hiyo kitu imemshinda kumaster. You need mastery. You know, you need stoicism. You need to be a stoic when it comes to dealing with the public. You become cold and selfish when it comes to dealing with the public, when the public controls their perception of you. Okay? Wanasema hivi, ulifanya hivi. You don't defend yourself, you do better. You don't defend yourself, you do better. That is the trick. Na kwa nini huyu mwanamke ajui ya kwamba that is the trick? Kwa nini ajui that is the trick? You don't spend even 1 minute defending yourself. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Because the more una explain, the more watu wanashangaa, gai huyu mwanamke kwani alikuanga mwanamke style gani? Unaona? Wewe unadhani unatengeneza maneno, kumbe unaharibu. Unaona? Gifters, thank you so much. RJ, asante. Unaharibu, guys. Toeni Priscilla Waimani 0 pia. Gigi Dola yuko hapa, Nyoyamo yuko hapa. Guys, bless our people, please. General Idi Amin, our judges here, bless them. If you got something, warushie wadau. So, listen, guys, listen. Yeah? Mimi kama ningekuwa, in fact, what I love about, what I know is that I know that, Diana anaweza solve issue yenye yako nayo na watu very, very instantly. Anaweza isolve haraka sana. In fact, mimi, our judge, I don't even care for the truth. I don't care for the truth. I don't care for sitting down, bringing screenshots from 10, 12 years ago. I don't care for that. What I care for is that this woman can actually help herself by stopping to talk about the past. The past is the past. Yes, watu walikubuli. But there is also, people will be questioning, kwa nini ulikuwa bullied? Kwa nini wewe ndio walikuselect out of all these people kwa Facebook? Lady J hatujamsikia akisema alikuwa bullied Facebook. Unaelewa? Kwa nini ni wewe walikuselect? People will ask questions. Why? Unaelewa? Alafu utakuwa hapo unajaribu kuexplain. It will never work. You will never be able to explain it to the public that indeed you are picked on for no reason at all. At the back of our minds we'll be thinking, kuna kitu alifanya, ndio sababu alikuwa bullied hivyo. Kuna tu kitu alifanya. And then of course those who are there will be coming and saying, oh, huyu mama alifanya hivi, akafanya hivi, akafanya hivi. Mnanielewa? So what Diana needs to do, start forging ahead, achana na the past. The past will keep dragging you back. And you will be sitting there with little children, crying to them about Ati Owiso. Imagine mama mkubwa kama wewe Diana, unalia juu ya Ati Owiso. Ati really bullied me, alifanya hivi. Na wewe ndio wanga unakanyaga Ati mpaka unamuita chokora, unamwambia venye, I'm going to admit, mimi huita Ati chokora. Rosafi nitasema tu yes. But Diana, Judge, kwa Mike, ongea.
I was just reminding you that those are the names you people use. Fresh fry.
Absolutely. Yeah. But Diana, mwenye angalia Oscar Whiskey. Oscar Whiskey is untrained. Oscar Whiskey is feral. Atakuja tu andike hapo hivyo. Wote wawili ni machokosh. So listen, guys. So and then the public hates weakness. Guys, what you must know is that the public, I'm talking about public perception. Kama we ni mtu wenye uko hapa unajigamba venye we ni msmart, lazima ujue ya kwamba the public hates weakness. As human beings, we hate weakness. And that is why we use a term, survival for the fittest. It is the fittest soldier that survives. So if you're repeatedly bringing weakness on TikTok, crying to people who don't actually give a shit, by the way, all those people sat on that platform, watu 200 wakimsikiza, I was share, kumbe ati aliua watu, I was share. 99.9% don't give a rat's behind. They don't care. Wanataka tu chai. That is all they're there for, chai. Alafu, akafanya nini? I was share. They don't care. They don't say that because they sympathize. They don't sympathize. They want juicy stories. Their ears are itching for juicy stories. You know, they love to imagine that there is a woman who can actually kill 17 women in total. That is such an exciting story. Think about it. Think about it. Like, kuna mama hapa TikTok. Sorry, not Facebook, TikTok. Mwenye ameua wanawake 17. For real? Are you for real? Hizo ndio vitu meka watu hapo. Guys, hizo ndio vitu meka watu hapo. They are so fascinated. But these people were kids. When all this was happening, walikuwa watoto wadogo, walikuwa shule, primary school. Wengine hata hawakuwa wameanza shule. Unaona? Wengine utapata hapo hawakuwa wameanza shule. But they're there listening to how Atio Wiso aliua watoto 10. It's a fantastical story if you think about it. That is like a serial killer. Don't you guys? That is a serial killer. That is those stories in America of this woman who went on killing men. Yeah? Alikuwa sex workers, SW. Alikuwa anaenda, akisha maliza na customer, anamwacha amemuua, anapata customer mwingine mubaba, anamwacha. That is quite a fantastic story to tell. And Diana knows that because Diana is a creative. You know, she has a creative mind. That bipolar imemfanya akona creativity. She's very creative. Mnaelewa? So she's there creative, creating all this fantastic. I keep using the word fantastic because it is beyond imagination, beyond human imagination. You know, it's kind of made in some kind of dystopic world that does not exist. That a woman would actually kill 17 people in total and then be free, roaming around TikTok, interacting with us. I mean, what kind of privilege is that we are here interacting with a woman who has killed 17 people? Do you know how hard it is to even get hold of serial killers who kill 6 people? Ukienda kwa prison, unajaribu kuwaongelesha, my dear, there's a long list of people trying to reach them. A long list of interviewers and reporters trying to get hold of them. And yet sisi tumebarikiwa sana ya kwamba huyu mama ameua watu 17 ako hapa na chill na sisi kwa TikTok. Tunakanyagana na yeye hapa kwa TikTok. Bumper to bumper. Imagine that. That is a fantastical, narrative. Totally made up baloney. Does not exist. It only exists in the mind of Diana Ross Okello. That is the only place that kind of a story exists in. And then go ahead and ask her, can you kindly give us the names of all these women who were killed by this horrid woman? And then that is where she will start creating stories. She'll say, families wamekataa, hatuwezi provide your information. And the lady that she talked about, there's this woman she spoke about. There's the woman from Tanzania, the one whose grandmother was crying on that video yesterday. That woman had very little to do with Buyer Beware. Her death was a result of her boyfriend having defiled her own child. But because Diana has to create stories, she has to literally fix Atio Wiso's name there. Imagine. Aya, muulizeni namba 3, 4, 5 mpaka 17, waambie hawa wanawake ni wagani. Hata waambia, because the women don't exist. The women don't exist. They only exist in Diana's mind. They don't exist. You know? And that is the problem, Diana. You know, you need self-mastery. What you lack is what you call self-mastery. You're going through life very careless. You're a woman in your 40s. And you're very careless in the way that you present yourself as Diana Okello. You know, 1 minute you're a weak person crying on phone, saying how you are depressed, you're dying, your mental health is this. The next minute you're this boss, you know, destroying everything in your way, you know. So you're really one person who needs to master who Diana Okello is. The emotions of Diana Okello. You lack self-control. You lack emotional intelligence. I've never had to use that. That bringing the past is your biggest undoing. Constantly, repeatedly bringing the past. Your biggest undoing. The second biggest undoing, yeah, you are countering what someone has said about you. That actually presents you as a weak person. When the minute human beings realize that you care too much, my dear, watakukanyaga kukukanyaga, kwa sababu wanajua watapata reaction. You know, you are too adopt stoicism. Read about the old Stoics. Okay? Be the face of accusation. For once, be unbothered. You're too bothered. And the reason you're bothered is because you know all that is being said is the truth, but you do not know how to bury it in the past. That is your past, Diana. Bury it and move on. Don't come explaining and denying and blah, blah, blah. And it is pathetic to watch. It really is pathetic to watch. You know, and that is why you've gotten to the point where even kikupendwa raha anakukanyaga. Imagine. Yani umeenda low mpaka kikupendwa raha anakukanyaga. How sad is that, man?
Shikilia hapo, Madam Prosecutor.
Hey,
I want you to continue, speak for 7 hours, because as we can only limit ourselves as spectators, yeah? But I wanted to address something that came down here quickly and urgently. Now, there was somebody who came with the allegations, or rather, calling for our attention that Ati and her group bullied Diana Ross. We don't want to rubbish that. That's why I'm responding. I want to know this bullying, the cyber bullying claims. Are they the claims where Ati is calling Diana Ross out for allegedly stealing some money from people? Are those the messages that we want to call cyberbullying? Because when someone call you out, that is not cyberbullying. That person is trying to create awareness and let people know of your activities. So these cyberbullying messages, because on the write-up on the email, the TikTok Nation, there was allegations that watoto wake walikuwa wanafaa kubakwa. Can we see these messages? Can we see this bullying? Can we see these videos, a text, written posts about the watoto were back with the what? Can we see them? Because these are cyberbullying. These are even past cyberbullying. They're very serious. But if I'm going to see, as the Chief Justice, if I'm going to see posts that are calling you out on allegedly defrauding members of the public, I do not think that is cyberbullying. What I think under the law, you are supposed to give your own side of the story, or at least accountability. Then you conquer those posts. When people say Cinderella stole, it is up to me to come and say, I did not steal. This is what happened. But I cannot start saying those people are cyberbullying me. They are only calling me out. So hiyo ndo kitu nilikuwa nataka watu waelewe. So we want to really get, that's why you see Lady Jacqueline, we want to get to the root of the truth. And me, I'm telling you, we are going to bring a documentary, the story of Diana Ross Okello on Facebook. We want to know what happened. And if we find you guilty, we find Ati guilty, me, I'm not going to pick sides. If we find anybody guilty, I am not on anybody's team. Diana is guilty. We are going to say it as it is. This is what happened. This was what happened. Let's have a clear information. If Lady Jacqueline was talking lie, we say Lady Jacqueline was saying a lie here, but here she said the truth. Ati was saying a lie. Aliua, alifanya, alizika. We want that truth. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you. Thank you for that. And I like that. I'll merely be a spectator because I can be biased. I may be biased. Trust me, I do not like either Ati or Diana. I don't. I think I think Ati is severely overbearing.
Madam Prosecutor, Madam Prosecutor, you are also accused.
No,
you're not going to be a spectator.
Okay, so in this situation, I am merely a spectator. Do you know why? I was actually discussing the fight between Diana and Ati. You understand? And the reason I opened this live is because of this screenshot. Let me show you, Judge. This screenshot that Diana presented to those young girls. Okay? And then, so this is a screenshot about a lady called Gloria Otieno, that Diana told those girls that she wrote a letter to the United Nations, her employer, and the woman was fired from her job at the UN. But if you can see this email, the amount of dishonesty with Diana is appalling. It's actually disgusting, to be honest. Now, Diana wrote a letter here, an email here to Bioversity. It's very clear on this email. To Bioversity. It's not to the United Nations. This is Bioversity, a totally different organization from the UN. But in her live, right there with Abigail, she is telling her audience that she wrote an email to the United Nations where Gloria Otieno worked and Gloria was fired. Gloria has never worked for the UN. Okay? Never. Gloria happens to be one of my best friends. That isn't somebody, in this picture, this is Gloria, the lady with glasses, sitting at the far end. And next to Gloria is Eve. These are all my girlfriends. And next to Eve is myself. Unaniona hapo, hata mimi nimekaa hapo na earrings, necklace kubwa, that massive neck piece. This is us. And the next to us now is, Kwamboka, who is a Kisi. The fourth person is Kwamboka. We went to the same primary school. We've known each other since we were around 8-9 years old. All these women, okay? Age ndio tuko nayo tofauti. Huyu Eve alikuwa maybe kitu kama standard 3, tukiwa sisi tuko uko standard 7. Unaelewa? That is the only thing. Myself and Venice were in the same, no, not Venice, but Kwamboka. We were in the same class. And then Gloria was a few classes behind us. 2 classes behind us. All right? 1 or 2 classes. 1 class behind us. So, and she went to the Kenya High School, where Diana went to school and was chased away for nini? For uchawi na wizi. You guys do understand? And this is not me, whatever, having a go at Diana. Hiyo ni brother yake ndiye alikuja akatuambia hapa kwa TikTok. Sasa, huyu, anasema kwamba huyu, ukiangalia hii email anasema, I am writing to inform you about one of your employees that cyberbullied me and called for the rape of my children on Facebook, even when I was in a mental hospital. She and other women, I told you guys Diana does not know punctuation. Munaona hapo should have been a full stop. Awekangi punctuation. Wanga naandika mpaka mwisho. She and other women joked about my mental health. Amejaribu koma hapo. Fat shamed me and called for the men to grape me and my children. Amejaribu ka full stop. I have screenshots that I'll attach. I can't attach some because they have my children on them, but I felt that it was necessary. Now she says that Gloria Otieno called for the grape of her children on Facebook. Guys, this Gloria Otieno, this woman right here, aongeangi, yeah, aongeangi. Huyu mwanamke aongei. She's the most quiet person, aongei. But Diana alimtarget kwa umati because she's probably, during those days on Facebook, she had one of the biggest jobs amongst Luo women. Because she's a county rep of an entire organization. You know, she's called Dr. Gloria Otieno. She has a PhD. We were in PhD, we are doing our PhDs together. Yeah, alimaliza, mimi sikumaliza. Kwa hivyo ni mwanamke alikuanga na kazi mzuri, Diana akamtarget ya kwamba anataka kumharibia. Akaandikia the employer. Gloria alirudi akaniambia her employer laughed at Diana's email. I swear alicheka. You know, na Diana anajua very well ya kwamba huyu mwanamke hakuwahi kuwa fired, lakini anakuja TikTok anadanganya watu ya kwamba mwanamke alikuwa fired. Aliandika barua mpaka mwanamke akawa fired. Do you see how complex it is, Judge? That is the problem. Diana does not speak the truth. She doesn't know how to speak the truth. You understand? So how are you going to be in a courtroom with someone mwenye hajui ukweli, hajui kuongea ukweli hata kidogo? Utafanya aje? Hebu wewe niambie, wacha ni mute.
Okay, I'll stay with the screenshot you just displayed. She quoted it that she has some screenshots to attach, yeah, and I'm sure she attached some and some she did not. But you see, when somebody tells you atabaka watoto wako na wewe, for me knowing the kind of person my former boss is, I know she would have taken police. We have seen the quick police response, even when she's in America, in Kenya, she's quickly responding with police. So me, I'll still want to give her benefit of doubt that she took more action than just sending an email to Biodiversity, and that even up to date, because she's a lover of and a keeper of receipts, she's going to maybe have these screenshots. Hata tuone tu post moja, not that we don't believe, but you see, this is a matter of public verification. We, the public, we cannot keep on consuming content and hearsays because right now, and allegations that make us to see all the people mentioned in a different way. Tunataka tuone mtu vile yako. Kama Cinderella mwizi, munaleta screenshot, munaleta kila kitu, muna approve. Cinderella anajaribu kujitetea, public ina judge, inajua Cinderella kwanzia leo ni mwizi lakini tunampenda. You know? Like ama tunamkataa, you know. So baby, there is this evidence akonayo ama kitu yoyote. Diana Ross, me, I know that you are somebody who is too intelligent, and I'll want to still give you that benefit of that, because me, I'm just a neutral party in this, on all this, you know. But if it turns out we are now going to see Diana in a different way, all of us, you know, we are going to see her in a different way. So mimi, Madam Prosecutor, I again repeat, I am remaining neutral. Mpaka nifanye investigative journalism to know exactly. These posts, if they are on Facebook, they have not been deleted. Sooner or later, we'll stumble on them.
Yeah, all on Facebook.
You know,
Ziko Facebook, Judge.
Yeah, easy posts za watoto wa bakwe.
Yes, they're all on Facebook. She even brought, she actually brought, the watoto wa bakwe was a fabrication. What the women said, which she actually brought a screenshot of it, was that yeye mwenyewe Diana abakwe. But if you look at this particular thing, anasema hivi ya kwamba the women, even when I was in mental hospital, she and other women joked about my mental health, fat-shamed me, and called for men to grape me and my children. Sasa hiyo ya my children aliongeza hapo kwa sababu alikuwa anatafuta pepa. Unanielewa, Judge? She wanted to get
Ninatoka Lady Jacqueline.
Unanielewa? Alikuwa anatafuta residence ya America. So she had to add my children. When in actual fact, what happened was that, you know, she was reportedly taken to a mental hospital after an attempt to unalive herself. Unanielewa, Judge? alikuwa anataka kuji-analyze, hakuwa successful, kwa hivyo akapelekwa hospitali ili atibiwe. Hapo kwa hospitali, wanawake Wajaluo wenye amewaangaisha for so long, wakasikia huyu mama ako hospitali, alijaribu chukua uhai, kujitoa uhai, alafu akapelekwa. The women now were celebrating. Now the question is, why on earth would somebody celebrate that you wanted to take your own life? Why? And why does Diana Okello think that people watching her are not asking these very questions? Okay? Kwa nini yeye haoni ya kwamba kuna watu watakuwa wanauliza maswali? Wanauliza, what kind of people are those that can actually celebrate that you tried to take your own life? Ni watu wa aina gani? Unaelewa? But this is what happened. These were victims of Diana. These were the same women aliwaibia pesa. Unaelewa? So these women walikuwa wanamwandama Facebook from page to page to page. As new stories came in, ameibia huyu. Hao wanawake tena walikuwa wana-involve kwa hizo makesi. Mara amepatikana huko, sijui amejaribu kubaka nini baba mtu, tena wako kwa hiyo kesi. So they had beef with her. They did not just single her out from the crowd, wakasema huyu tunaenda kumbuli mpaka ajitoe uhai. That was not the case. You know, so the minute she becomes honest enough and talk with truth and not try to manipulate people, because what Diana is doing is the biggest form of manipulation. That is the fact. She's trying for people to see her differently as some victim. If you met Diana on Facebook, my dear, you would never see her as a victim today. You'd never. If you saw the things she was doing on Facebook, you'd understand why everyone was on her neck. You'd understand why she keeps saying that she has always been hated. She has never been loved by anyone. Sasa utaelewa ni kwa nini anasema hivyo. But before you take the mic, Judge, this is what I'm saying. I'm not excusing the comments of those women. Not at all. What I'm saying clearly is Diana needs to present the truth as it is without trying to manipulate people and without repeatedly trying to be a victim of circumstances. You aren't a victim of circumstances. Yeah, you created this entire story around you. You know, you created everything that happened to you. You created it. You know, so you need to first of all take ownership of that. But because you're controlled by pride, you do not know how to let go of your past. You know, you're holding on to your past because of pride. You're too proud to take ownership of your own actions. You have to blame it on everybody else but yourself. And that's where the problem is. When you eventually let go of pride and own your past mistakes, you will be free. Humility frees a person. Okay? Abandon pride, uchukue humility. My dear, it frees you and you'll be able to pivot from there and be a totally different person. Diana, you can actually change your story. You can't change your story, but you will never change it so long as you continue to defend yourself. Someone says this thing, you're already there defending yourself, bringing screenshots, showing people, protests, CG newspaper. Nobody cares about that rubbish. That rubbish is only important to you. It's not important to the public. Personally, what I'm seeing you as is merely somebody who is struggling to make ends meet in America. I don't see you as somebody who was on a newspaper, because that is a past that even I cannot remember. You understand? So repeatedly bringing your past to try and use it to justify people's perceptions about you is a waste of your time. time, use your time better by writing new narratives about yourself. Public perception is very hard to change. I'm telling you, the public, the minute wamesha kujua hivi, you will really have to work hard for them to change how they see you. The only way you change it is not by talking, it's by doing. You do better, you do things in a way that...
Hello guys, is it my network?
Okay.
Ama ni kweli amepotea?
DCIO, please remain muted a little bit. We welcome you. We are going to brief you what's happening. You have some noise, yeah?
Thank you,
DCIO,
Judge.
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit, DCIO.
You've got a lot of noise. DCIO uko na kelele mingi. Hello?
Yeah. Yeah, because
chukua mic. Judge nimemaliza, chukua mic. Thank
you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can.
All right. Now, I want, DCIO, please mute because we want to flow. We want to flow because people are here and it's our duty to make sure that people have that, they comprehend what we are trying to say. So, Lady Jacqueline, allow me to cross-examine you. I just have 3 questions. 3 only, yeah? I've listened to you. This is so powerful. This is so deep. It's not just for Diana Ross. It's also for people like me who have the habit of kukosana na watu, you know, understand? Or people having some other perception of my reputation that's not me, you know? So I'm also learning from you, you know, understand? So, but I want to cross-examine you. So if in reference to my notes, because me, I'll have a conversation with everybody. Whoever doesn't want to talk to me, be it Ati Awiso, be it Diana Ross, it's well and good. But at least the ones who will welcome me to have a conversation, I'll understand them. So this is what I want to confirm I've understood from you. You as Lady Jacqueline, you said ulikuanga majuu. Ukapatanga uyu dem, anakuwa, yani you witnessed her being bullied on Facebook. True or false?
Yes. So can I give you a better response?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I'll give you maybe a 4 or 5 sentence response. So I was in England, and this was around. Of course, those are the years I taught at Banfield College. All right. This woman, not 2012, but around 2013 to 2015. But I think it started earlier. She was severely hunted on Facebook, and she was severely bullied. So I watched as she was being bullied in 2014, okay? And I sympathized, because imagine one person, Judge, being bullied and being literally, oh my God, yani alikuwa anafanyiwa unyama. But imagine that happening to you, you're one person, and it's not happening just a small section of Facebook. It is happening all across Facebook. Imagine that. All across Facebook. Mpaka magroups unafukuzwa. Huyu mama alikuwa anafukuzwa kwa magroups. Alifukuzwa Kilimani Moms. Diana, imagine Kilimani Moms venye ilikuwanga. Those who know Kilimani Moms, you had to belong. You know, you had to be there. Huyu mama alifukuzwa Kilimani Moms. Alifukuzwa Mondnam Lolwe. Alikuwa anafukuzwa kwa hizi magroups. Kwa sababu ya wizi. Yani cases za wizi hazikuwa zinaisha. So because of that, everybody was on her neck. I sympathized. I decided I'm going to be on her side. I swear to God. And during this time, I was coming out as a public figure. This is the time I was literally launching Lady Jacqueline. You understand? I was in my late 30s, and I just wanted to literally start doing my public participation, public, you know, all these things that I do now. So mimi, wanawake wakaona nikimdefend, wakanikwamia kwa koo, wakasema, you are trying to become somebody. How can you defend this man when you're trying to become somebody? Unaelewa?
Right.
And the person who told me that was a lady called Salin Handa, a very well-known woman in Luo circles. Aliniambia, don't. An image on Facebook to stand with this woman. I swear to God. And I lost so many incredible women. If you guys know what currency, social currency is, it is the friends the connections that you've made, you know, the friends that you've acquired over the years. That is social currency. It's very important. I lost a big chunk of my social currency because of this woman. I swear to God. Imagine losing, if you guys know who Salin Handa is, that was such a legit connection. I lost her on that day. She told me, darling, you are deciding to involve yourself with Diana Okello? Do you know what this woman has done to people? That is after she had stolen money from a whole group of 4,000 Luo women. She'd stolen from them. And there I am trying to defend such a person. It is one of the biggest mistakes I ever made as Lady J. I'm going to tell you the truth. I should never have done that. Even though I sympathized, my sympathy should have stopped at sympathy. That is it, period. Social currency is very, very important, especially for women our age. Huwezi kuwa bado unacheza mchezo za watoto, za ujinga. You can't, you don't have time for that nonsense. You know, the truth is the truth. And lies are lies. The truth was that this woman was a con. She repeatedly stole from people. She made people cry. Huyu mwanamke alikuwa anatumia mapolisi. Akisha kuibia, anatumia polisi kukuweka ndani. Imagine, umeibiwa na wewe ndio unachukuliwa unawekwa ndani kwa sababu umeitisha pesa yako Facebook. The things this woman did, wewe. Aya, wacha ni mute. Next question. Guys, I hope I'm still here. Judge, next question.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you the next question, which personally I wanted to ask. Yeah, so by doing so, by her stealing from you, you were able to verify that this lady had stolen from you, and she's indeed maybe a thief as it. Lady and Diana Ross fallout after the husband paid the money. How did it turn out to be a mvurutano on social media between you and Diana Ross?
Okay, so there were okay. So first of all, she went on what do you call it? A sabbatical. I call it a sabbatical, you know, for lack of a better word. I call it a sabbatical. So this things where she does where she escapes from social media, claiming a problem with her mental health, and then she goes away for months, and then she remains on social media using pseudos. Unaelewa? So that is the same thing she did. She left me on Facebook with a group of women that she had put together. She put together a group of women, akawaeka kwa group. Yeye akatoka kwamba akona mental illness, she's struggling, she's what, akaenda akatoka Facebook. Akaniacha na hao wanawake. Ni mimi ndio nawalinda wadau. Mpaka alikuwa na ma employees. One of them was a lady called Fahe. Mwenye alikuwa admin wake wa hiyo group. Admin alikuwa analipwa 15k wadau. Admin alikuwa analipwa 15k. Nimeachwa na admin, mimi ndio nalipa admin mshahara. Mnanielewa vizuri? Ha? Mimi nimeachwa na admin, nalipa admin mshahara, my people. Those are the things that started reeking of scam to me. I realized that I was being scammed. I was being scammed. Why is she just disappearing when it's almost the end of the month? Nilipa huyo mwanamke mshahara mpaka nikachoka. That is when now my taste ya huyu mwanamke ilienda vibaya. Hapo nyuma attend penye ameenda mental illness, ameclaim mental illness, kumbe nyuma attend ana seduce rafiki yangu. Unaona hii picha? This lady here, first is Gloria Otieno, mwenye amevaa miwani. Second is Eve Otieno. Eve Otieno ananiambia, she was my best friend at that time. She's telling me, oh, this woman is actually rescuing me from abuse. Sijui nini, I'm being abused by this mzungu, mwenye naishi nae. Siwezi kukuambia ni mwanamke mgani, but she's allowed me, anaenda kuishi kwa nyumba yake. In fact, anakuja kuni collect, sijui nini. Sasa Eve ananiambia hizi story zote. Sasa namuuliza Eve, kwa nini uniambii jina huyu mwanamke ni nani? Unaelewa? Eve naye hataki kunipa story yote. Kwa sababu Diana Okello, mwanamke mwenye Diana Okello is that woman in the background who is rescuing Eve Otieno from abuse. So now, my best friend is talking to me every single day, na anaishi kwa nyumba ya Diana, lakini haezi niambia ya kwamba anaishi kwa hii nyumba because Diana alikuwa anamsaidia hata yeye apate refugee venye yeye alipata. Unajua at that time Diana ameshapata refugee. Asa naishi kwa hizi nyumba za hao watu wenye wamempatia nini paper ya US. Asa Eve pia hana paper. Friend yangu wako America hana paper. Mzungu mwenye alikuwa nadhani atampatia paper, tena naona ni kama is not interested in her. The mzungu was interested in another woman who was in West Africa. In fact, he eventually went and married that woman. Now they live with her in America. So Diana was her only way out, you know. So ndio huyo. Tukafanya nini? Akaishi hapo. Kidogo rafiki yangu ananiambia ya kwamba I have something to tell you. Unakumbuka yule mwanamke nilikuambia ati alikuja kunichukua? It is Diana Okello. Ati saizi ananifukuza kwa nyumba yake. My Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Jesus, hallelujah, Jesus. Jesus. Anasema, Eve, what are you on about? How can you associate with that? Oh my God. Hey, nilishtuka. Guys, nilipigwa na butwa. So hapo ndio sasa Eve akarushwa nje na vitu zake zote. In fact alikuja akapata vitu zake ziko kwa mlango. Aliniambia, Jackie, all my suitcases are at the door. Vitu zangu zote ziko nje. That Lady J laughter is when she is lying. I don't lie, I speak the truth, Lemon. You look for lies from me, you'll never find them. Okay, I'm an old woman, I don't need to lie. So ndio huyo. So hapo tu Eve sasa tunajaribu kutafuta jinsi hata nini atapata accommodation. Tukaanza na siji, hey guys, it was tough. So that is what happened, Judge. You know, we started kind of breaking. The relationship just started breaking, and then within no time, bwanake akafa. Sasa after that, during COVID, there was another app inaitwa Clubhouse. Yeah, no worries, Judge. Clubhouse. So tena we are joining Clubhouse kwa vipingo. We are joining 2019. We are joining Clubhouse. Tukaingia Clubhouse. Now again, within the Kenyan community in Clubhouse. In fact, I still see some of the people we used to chill with on Clubhouse. Kenyan American family, that guy, Kenyan American home, is the main name that I remember from Clubhouse because, you know, he was very talkative. So yeah, so hapo tena, I am hapo kwa Clubhouse, I am making moves, I'm getting followers like shit. Because my content is on point. I was really talking about, you know, decentering men. And I was also, nilikuwa napelekana na wanaume wa Kenya on their misogyny. Yani I got some kind of acclaim on Clubhouse, you know, some kind of notoriety. Iyo sasa tena ikaumiza Kapunye. Ikamumiza sana. Hapo sasa ndio bwanake akafa soon after. Nikamwambia just before bwanake kukufa, wanawake wa Clubhouse walikuwa wanapanga kumfinya. Hata nikamwambia, my dear, these women are planning something on you. Be careful. Yeah, akaona ni kama namuonea. Unaona? Hapo sasa akafeel vibaya. I don't know what she told me. Soon after bwanake akafa, and that is how we never spoke again. The next time we were talking, she appeared again uko Facebook. Saa zile mimi na Nyako tulikuwa tunapelekana, akajionyesha tena. Akaenda sasa out after years, imagine. After about 4 years. Yeah, 4 years later. Unamuona kwa Nyako, saa zile Nyako and I, we are going through something. We are making each other famous. Anaandika hapo kwa comment section, you are very brave. You are very brave. Nikajua huyu anatamani kuwa rafiki wa Nyako sasa. What happened? Wacha sasa nianze kumkanyaga. Nikaachana na Nyako, nikafocus na yeye na bot mwingine alikuwa anatumia ako huko Canada. Nikafocus na yeye na huyo robot. Nilikanyaga wanawake guys. Wacha tu. So that is it guys. That is my story with Kapunye. Yeah. Judge, I don't know if you're around. You can take the mic. Ni kama judge amemaliza maswali guys. Judge amemaliza maswali. Guys, so that is it. But as I was saying, because ni kama judge amemaliza maswali, I don't know if you are still here. Network bado iko. Yeah. Network bado iko. Ebu mconfirm. I just want to give literally my remarks on the happenings. Thank you, Mama Sita. Network iko. Nalo. Thank you. So this is what is happening. Yeah, 3 questions done. Thank you. This is what is happening. Diana Okello anakanyagwa na Ati Owiso. Diana anakuja anajieleza, lakini hajielezi kwa TikTokers, anajieleza tu watu 200. She's bringing receipts. Instead of bringing receipts to counter what Ati is saying, she's bringing receipts to show that she was some big wig, big baller on Facebook. So again, she is being controlled by pride. This is our biggest undoing as Luo women in particular. Even Ati, who pretends that yeye ndiye anajifanya yeye ndiye amekubali hana pesa, Ati is full of pride. Ati is full of pride. They are the same, wako full of pride. And I'm not saying I'm any different. That is the problem with Luo women in general. Kiburi. We can never be taught. You know, we can never be taught. Wote tuko na shida na self-esteem. So msisikie Ati ako huko kwa kona yake anasema sijui Diana hana self-esteem. Hapana, Ati pia hana hiyo self-esteem. Hakuna hiyo self-esteem hakuna. Because self-esteem is you self-checking, your own self-checking. People with self-esteem, they know how to check themselves out. Okay? They know how to adapt. Okay? They are not rigid. Rigidity is the cause of our downfall. Rigidity. True intelligence comes from adapting with time. Kuna venye huyu mwanamke, hata Ati ana make the same mistakes. They are the same. She knows very well, but for now, let me focus with Diana. She knows very well that the things that she is saying are 99% lies. Now, and she's saying them as a way of shielding herself from Ati. She's shielding herself from Ati. And at the same time, she knows Ati is a custodian of her entire thieving history. Ati has the archives za Barbie Ware. Ako nazo. Story zote za wizi za Kapunye, Ati ako nazo. Unaelewa? So it's like Kapunye is fighting a losing battle. Because this person already has power over you. In that every time you stole from people, she was always the first person to get that information. And she published it. So you going on and on to justify yourself and to explain yourself, that is a sign of low self-esteem. You don't have what you call self-belief. And you don't have grit. You know, you don't have grit. You're not strong enough. This person has power over you. Because why are you repeatedly explaining yourself every time they go live and talk about you? And then when you explain yourself, you imagine you're actually fixing stuff, you're making them worse. Because people are wondering, oh my God, that happened? OMG, and then that happened? You know? And the most ridiculous statement from you was that of Ati having killed 17 people. And then you assume that people are daft not to ask questions behind that unnuanced claim. So again, your issue, Diana Okello, is flattening all the nuances. Your arguments are unnuanced. They're basic. They don't go deep enough. They're lacking in explanation. They're lacking in legitimacy. Because when you say somebody has killed 17 people, under what circumstances did they kill these people? That will be the first question somebody will ask. Under what circumstances? And then that person, are they in prison by any chance? That's the second question they will ask. You know, but because you flatten nuances, hoping that everyone is as basic as you are, you end up presenting yourself and then falling short. Each time you fall short. You make things worse for yourself on this app. And that's why everybody, you know, lacks respect for you. You know, they will think they can address you. Imagine you being addressed by everybody, including Sharon, a little girl living in some slum in Nairobi. Imagine that, you know. And that is because you don't go deep enough. You're so basic. You're shallow, you know. You're shallow. You're very shallow in the way that you present your issues. You're very shallow. Think beyond that. Think about what you want to be. You keep saying, I want to do this, I want to do this, but you're not working towards that. You're stuck on TikTok, you know, trying to convince little girls, 200 little girls on your platform. In fact, they're not even 200. Maybe they're 50. You know, that team bipolar, you'll find it's only around 50 people. You know, you're there sat down with 50 people trying to convince them you're a nice person. You have no time doing that. When is shosh? Wewe ni shosh. Mashosho hawana time kukaa na watoto wadogo wanaexplainia kwamba hao ni watu wazuri. Okay? They should see that in your actions, your behavior. You don't need to explain that shit. You need to do shit. You understand? Do shit. Show these people that you're a good person. You're a woman in your mid-40s. What business do you have sitting down with Abigail? Explaining nonsense to Abigail. What will Abigail do with that? What is she going to do with that knowledge, that information? Oh yes, you are in a newspaper article that was finally pulled down because it was full of lies. Ukishambia Abigail hiyo, atafanya nayo nini hiyo information? And that is the lack of intelligence. You don't know how to adapt.